My name is Cory Dell'Olio. I'm president at Decoupage MPS. Decoupage MPS is a small sheet plant located in Montreal, Canada. We die cut all sorts of different materials as well as specialize in corrugated packaging. So our Thompsons that primarily use these soft anvil pads are really used for all sorts of different die cutting, not only corrugated, but different types of plastics, foams, you name it, we'll cut it. So the anvil pads have been useful in that sense. So we don't actually have a crest machine. We have a Thompson, which is an equivalent, we'll say, but much older. And so we were looking at the soft anvil pads to be able to reduce our setup times on our machines, and to help us be more efficient. So that's what we accomplished up to now. We're super satisfied with the product, and it really achieved all of the expectations that we had. So for that, we're super satisfied with that. Actually, what kind of kicked it off was a YouTube video that I saw many years ago, a few years ago now, that I saw about Rick Putsch actually doing some testing on the crest and with the soft anvil pads, die cutting all sorts of different materials. That was even before I was involved I was involved more in the die making side of things. So that really intrigued me. I found it super interesting. And then I kind of kept that as a little nugget in back of my mind for, who knows, maybe one day, and that day did come. So once we did start working with our Thompson presses, then I knew exactly that we would make that switch and would give us really an advantage in reducing our setup times, just overall easier for the operators, flexibility. It's really really something that has brought life back into our old machines. Oh, definitely, yeah. Within the first few jobs. Well, for us, this is a brand new adventure for us. So we acquired the company just about a year ago now. So we're in no means ready to start reinvesting right off the bat. It is the goal, but obviously in the first year, every machinery has to be maximized before we could justify purchasing something new. So for the time being, the Thompsons were far from being maximized. In fact, we were trying to avoid them as much as possible just because they were kind of complicated to work with, not very fast, especially the setups. So being that they're very old, I mean, over 50 years old, they're almost impossible to get into the just the right sweet spot in terms of balancing the plate. So especially on our large Thompson, we were struggling with setup just because, we would try to tweak it and tweak it and tweak it and try to get the plate as parallel as possible. But it is over 50 years old. So we have to live with what it is. But the anvils take away all that issue. It does forgive. Obviously, you want to be as close to parallel as possible, like if we were cutting steel to steel, but it is more forgiving and it allows us to get away with that little imperfection that's in the machine that we know that unfortunately is something that we can't really get rid of. So it really brought some life back into that press and the others, the smaller ones also. I've never actually met them in person. It was always through email. Being up in Montreal, we don't have many shows or expositions that we have a chance to go and see, mostly all in the States. So it's a big travel for us. Eventually we will make the moves and go to the shows, but as of now, we haven't had the opportunity. So it was all through email. Yeah, I pretty much reached out after seeing the videos and keeping that in mind. And as soon as we were ready to start using or wanting to try the anvils, we reached out and got the ball rolling that way. Definitely helps for us. Obviously, being up in Montreal, Canada, a little bit more isolated to maybe in the States where it's a little bit easier to travel around. But it really didn't cause any issues for us. We'll say the border didn't didn't hinder anything. So that was a great point. And the learning curve that we had with the anvils was pretty much eliminated with just the expertise that the team had, and the questions we were able to ask and they were able to answer. So we were able to get up and running and run our first job almost instantly. There was pretty much no learning curve, and the little things that they asked that they were pointing out to watch out for, we did, and it worked exactly as planned. So for that, it was extremely smooth. Yeah, of course, of course. For now, it's relatively new that we're starting to use those pads from My Press Needs, but going forward, we definitely see those pads as being something very important in our production. It allows us to be super flexible, and there's a whole different ranges of them also that we haven't explored yet. We only have started using one of the types. So there's definitely all sorts of possibilities. We just haven't had the need for them yet. But eventually we will, and we'll definitely move forward like that. That's a good question. Yeah, for my end of things, I find it super interesting. I'm very hands-on. I love all sorts of different machineries. Obviously, transforming corrugated falls into that realm of things. So I think we have to go after those types of people, more for the production side of things, but also in terms of the social aspect of it. There's a lot of teamwork. That's definitely something that a lot of people look for. For younger people, we often just pass or slide over the packaging that our products come in, but there's a whole story behind it. And I think once people understand really what goes behind it, then it becomes something very interesting. And I think that maybe needs to be shared a bit more. How things are brought from A to B is usually in a corrugated box, and I think if more people really understand the process behind it, and how it's really a question of connections and partnerships, working together with suppliers and customers, it would definitely be more interesting, I think, to the younger generation. I mean, just the flexibility of it, the product itself is amazing. The service behind it also. There's a good support team around to answer all the questions, and they really seem invested in R&D. So always pushing the envelope on that side of things. The machines look amazing, but we haven't had a chance to work with them. Maybe one day, but as of now, it's not in the cards. But just a question of getting those pads onto our old machine. I think maybe some people, if there's something that we should mention, maybe is having a clamshell just in general, and not a crest. This system could be very much retrofitted onto any machine. We didn't really have anything special on ours to be able to do it. We were just able to calculate the thickness of the pads that we needed for it to be correct, and we were on our way. So I think it would be a good thing to promote that. I think a lot of people don't realize that it's that simple, and they think maybe it's reserved to only a crest. But our Thompsons are good old American. They've way older than myself, and we were able to do it without a hitch. In fact, I think those pads probably work just as well or better on the old machines, just because it takes away that imperfection of them that they've had over the years. So I see that as a super positive thing. And everybody shouldn't be. It's a small investment to make for the gains that they'll get out of it. There's no doubt.